Judi Dench, after 14 months of torture, is pretty much like, we didn't want you. Didn't need you. We don't want you. And James Bond's like, I'm ready for action. She's like, we have nothing for you to do. So he's like, right, I'm going to go off in a huff.
It's so good. She's like, fine, the best thing I can do is you beat up these innocent surgeons that are trying to bring you back to health and you fucking yeet out of here. And he's like, okay then.
How cruel is that? They're like, let's just check his vials okay. For 16 months of torture. And James Bond fakes a heart attack. The doctors try and relive him. He then goes, psych, gets the defibrillator and just fucking goes at them. They're in shock. They're upset. And he runs out.
He goes up to one woman and is like, thanks for the mooch, sugar tits, and clicks at her and dives off the boat. And you're like, oh my god, you're just beating up these poor... Especially because we're in the middle of, a pandemic, you can't have more. You've got so much respect for surgeons at the moment and doctors that the idea that they're like, we've got to resuscitating and somebody's like, just punches their way out. And M's just like, yeah, I orchestrated that, sorry. Not a great call.
He pretty much grabs a nurse, wet willies her, and just farts on her face. Just like, this is what I think about your profession. And you're like, James, you just cannot do that in 2021.
Pulls her in and whispers in her ear and is just like, I left a present in the... What's the wet pan or whatever? And just under the bed. Just like, left a thick piss and a shit for you under the bed in that pan. Clean that out.
Under the bed, no JK, I brought it here, froze it in her face. I sneezed in it too. Suck that up, bitch.
I would then love it if he was just too weak to get away, and he was like,
can you get me
slinkies into himself?
Can someone assist me? I'm so weak due to this virus. On an island. Now we're established in this gross Cockney Cuban revolutionary that James Bond's like, I dislike you. He then beats him up, puts him in a wheelchair, and because this guy has a ticket to the hospital on an island, the guards let him through. This man brings a wheelchair Cuban revolutionary onto the boat, and then the first second of danger, he just throws him on the ground.
He rams the chair into a wall and is like, ah! And I don't know why that's if you saw somebody ram a wheelchair man into a wall, you chase the assaulter. You don't get to... You're not like, oh god, what the fuck's this whole situation that's unfolding? I guess 30 of us are distracted now. But that... He creates more of a scene to get chased than he does a distraction.
Because it's not like it's guards, it's just, again, nurses. And he's constantly just like, what's that? He's an old man on the ground. And he pretty much kicks a nurse and then runs off.
Oh, he fights. He just goes out of his way to hit as many nurses and doctors as he can to get to the face technology.
He's just like, alright, the room's over there. I've got 50 meters. There's quite a few nurses. I guess these fists are going to have to do a lot of work, and bam, bam, bam.
How dare you help people for a small amount of money? I love that just I'm all for doctors' rights, and then giving them a left. You think he'd be worried? It looks like he's going to just get stuck out in the snow.
He must
freeze
know.
to death.
He must just know he's James Bond because he's so casually just if I was in that situation, if I had the plan and if I had executed the surfing thing, I'd be shitting myself. There's no way I'm thinking this is going to work. And James Bond's like, well, I'll do this and then I'll shut down that laser. Simple pimple. 1, 2. Two-step plan.
Especially because the way that he gets out of it is somebody happens to be going by in a ski mobile and he kicks him off it. But yeah. I reckon it's so far away from the villain's base that this probably isn't even a villain, but just somebody going for a leisurely ski. Yeah, so I reckon he's just stranded.
It's a nice hotel. That's probably just someone having a nice hotel, a nice trip. It's probably a nurse on a very scarce.
He's just
a
out
very
there
scarce holiday.
I smell a health worker out here.
Someone who isn't paid enough? Good. They're gonna get the fucking kicking of a lifetime, I swear to God.
Have you ever saved a life? I thought so.